Hello and welcome to the Golf Clash channel. Today I'm going to be covering top 5 tips to help you become a better Golf Clash player. I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Bringing the correct clubs on each tour is extremely important. As we can see, my opponent here brought a Thor's Hammer level 3, which is a great club, but unfortunately at level 3 it doesn't have the greatest distance. He could have helped his club by bringing a more powerful ball, but instead he used a Marlin, which has 0 power, and because of that he had to fully overpower it and unfortunately ended up in a sand trap. Now, knowing that this course, as well as a lot of other courses, use a long fairway, I am using a club that has a lot of distance and a decent amount of topspin. So I have the Quasar in, and I'm seeing even if I fully overpower it, I'm probably still going to clip the rough. So I switched to a Titan, which takes me from 7 yards extra to giving me 16 extra yards. But I'm still going to need to overpower it just a little bit and adjust for wind, and that's what I'm doing here. Now we're going to take the shot with just a little bit of overpower. Probably could use a little bit more, but I want to make sure I hit it perfectly. And now we want the ball to bounce on the fairway, bounce over the rough, and as you can see, we just barely nicked the rough, and that stopped the ball from rolling up to the top of the fairway, which would have been a perfect shot. However, we can still work with this. Now you see, when you end up in the sand, you have to use a sand wedge, or if you end up in the rough, you have to use a rough iron. So unfortunately, he's just trying to get his shot basically where we would want the drive to have landed, but now he's kind of penalized the stroke in a way because he had to use a shorter level club. Now I went ahead and I brought the Sniper, which can reach from where we're at if I bounce it on the first fairway, and then also I want it to hit the rough on its second bounce so it can trickle down towards the hole. We are battling wind in our face, so we're going to have to overpower it just a tad, and hopefully we can get the desired outcome, which should put us right by the pin. So I'm happy with where I'm set up at. I'm putting a little bit more power on here. It's a very accurate club though, so hitting it great does not really bother me too much. We got our first bounce where we wanted, and just as we expected, it did hit the rough and trickled down, so we actually used the rough to our advantage there, and now we have an easy putt. Had we not hit the rough with all that topspin, the ball would have been sailing into the sand. Now this is the shot that our opponent wanted to have off of the drive so we could both be putting and end in a draw. However, because this is his third shot, he pretty much has to get it in the hole from this distance, and that is very hard to do. So he did approach perfectly. As you can see, he used the rough to slow down his ball so it wouldn't go flying into the sand. However, he needs to hope, or he hopes that I miss this very easy putt so we can go to a shootout or a draw. And this is why bringing the correct clubs are so important, and it'll help you win more games in the future. Another quick tip for you is using topspin on chip-ins. As you can see, where the target is and where I'm hitting the ball at, the ball's going to be in the air for a little while there. So what we want to do is we want to use the topspin that this club has so we can pull the target back closer to us. As you see, it shrunk the target, making the club a little more accurate, but also now the ball's not going to be in the air nearly as long. You see how that little hump just got shorter? Now, just for the purpose of this video, I'm not even going to adjust for that 9.4 mile an hour wind. We're going to take our shot, perfect shot. Because the ball was only in the air for a split second, the wind did not affect it, and we got our chip in. To get the best results when playing Golf Clash, leaving room for error is one of the most important tips that you can use. As you can see, to get the ball as close to the pin, I literally have to hit it right next to the rough, which is a very dangerous shot. Instead of this is where a ball with some side spin definitely comes in handy. I'm going to put on the full side spin. I also feel like the ball may travel a little further than I want it to, so I put some backspin on. Now, if we look at the target and where the ball guide is going, I have room to where if I accidentally hit it great to the left, I'm not going to end up in the rough. And for the purpose of this video, I purposely hit it great left. We still bounced on the fairway, and we still have a very easy putt for our next shot. Now I want to cover bankroll management. And I have been following other people who teach about this game ever since I found that I was addicted to it. I love this game. So what bankroll management does is it ensures that you don't ever have to go back to the very early tours to grind money because you gambled it all away. So, for instance, you'll see I am on Tour 7 with my account right here, and I have 5.2 million gold coins. The entrance fee for Tour 7, which you'll see down near the bottom middle, is 100,000 coins. At the very top of your screen, you'll see I have 5.2 million gold coins. So technically, I have enough money to play probably Tour 9 or 10, depending on what the entrance fee is when I get those unlocked. So a lot of people are going to be like, well, why aren't you playing Tour 8 yet? And there's actually two reasons I'm not playing Tour 8. And the biggest reason is bankroll management. Bankroll management states you should have a minimum of 10 times the entrance fee for any given tour. Now here, as you can see, I do have that, because 10 times 300,000 would be 3 million, and I have 5 million. I don't adhere to the bare minimum. I like to have 15 to 20 times the income. That way, when I go to Tour 8 and lose a few games because I'm not used to it and I'm playing people who may be used to it, it's not as big as a deal. I can stay there. I don't go there, play one game, lose, and then, have to keep going back and forth. When I go to Tour 8, I want to have enough money to stay in Tour 8, at least for an extended period of time. Another thing I like to do is max out each tour before I get there. And as you can see, I'm very close to maxing it out. And as soon as I do max it out, I probably will go to Tour 8 because I am right around 15 times the income. But I am not in a rush. And the reason this is so important is because if I go to Tour 8 right now, and let's say I hit a 10-game losing streak, which I know 10 games sounds like a lot, but in the reality of things, I could be playing against players who know what clubs to bring and know how how it is hitting from the second tee, where the bumps in the courses are. I'm at a disadvantage when I first enter Tour 8. So I need a few games of practice, and then I'll start winning bigger money as I get used to Tour 8. So therefore, that's why I'm in no hurry to jump up to the next tour. It's very important to go all the way up because that's how you progress in the game, but you definitely want to have patience here, because if I go on a 10-game losing streak, that is $3 million that I would lose, leaving me with 2.2 million, and then you just keep tumbling down. And I did this in the past. Before I knew about bankroll management, I would gamble everything. And what happens is you gamble everything, and then you find yourself falling backwards in the tours. Next thing you know, you only have 10K. Let's say you have 25K gold coins. So you go down into Tour 5, and let's say you face someone that's better than you there. You know, you gamble it all. And now all of a sudden, you lose another 20K. All you have is 5K. Now you're down to tour 4, and each time you're in a must-win situation. So bankroll management makes it so you're never in a must-win situation. And I am comfortably in tour 7. I don't have to worry about going back to tour 6 or tour 5 or even all the way back down to tour 1 for money reasons, because I have a nice bank account. So this is why bankroll management is extremely important. Gems are very important too, and as you can see at the top right hand of your screen, I have been saving, and I've been saving for good reason. And let me show you. The main thing that I spend those gems on are balls. As I had mentioned earlier, you got to bring the right club. You got to have the right ball. If you have a high wind in your face, you're going to want a wind-resistant ball. If you have a really long fairway or a long wood shot to the green, you're going to want to bring a ball with more power. Well, as you can see, I have plenty of balls, so I'm able to basically, without having to worry about anything, when I go into a golf game, I can choose a ball, put it in when I need some, you know, some more side spin, when I need some more power or some wind resistance. I have a whole slew of balls that I can choose from. However, balls aren't the only thing that you can get with gems. And as we see here, I'm running low on marlins. I don't use marlins very often, but if I want to buy 180 marlins for 500 gems, it's not really going to put a big dent in my gems because I'm saving. But balls aren't the only things that you can get with gems. There's a few other things you can get with gems as well. Here we see the balls as well. You can pay cash for gems. As you see here, I have approximately $19.99 worth of gems. So gems are worth real currency, if you look at it that way, as well as I can buy a Tour 9 chest. I'm currently only on Tour 8, and they're letting me buy a Tour 9 Gold, Platinum, or King chest. I can't afford the King chest, but I could afford the first two. Or, if I'm very close to an upgrade, generally I will spend gems on a club. If it's a club that I'm using and I'm really trying to upgrade it as fast as possible because it'll improve my game. This has been the top 5 tips to help you get better and get started properly on Golf Clash. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for visiting the channel. Have a wonderful day.